Hey guys, Staz and I here. I'm at the Econ Wilderness area. I think it's Preserve Park. It's near Orange County and I believe Sanford. But today, just wanted to do a little, not really unorganized, but a little rant on greed and kind of its effects on humans in the past and into the future, also including the present. So greed's a tricky one because in today's society it's one of the main drivers of everything. If it's not greed, it's the desire for control and authority. But greed is really the underlying addiction that drives a lot of our suffering in this society. But it wasn't always like that, right? Because we kind of know that greed is good on some levels. That's why we have it as a species. It probably enabled us to get further ahead as an individual or as a small family, right? Because you were able to take something or have more of something, keep collecting something during times that it was, needed. But as we grew into societies and had to evolve to share more, the greed desire did not go away. That little whatever it is in our brain continued to exist. Hold on, I'm checking which way I gotta go. I think I go this way. I go that way. Anyways, so we never got rid of this desire to be greedy. And what it did when we started living in societies, collected groups, it allowed certain individuals to keep fueling that addiction and collect and hoard more wealth, resources, power, authority, and control. And that's kind of where you start to see the certain types of paradigms form in human society. And it's all based around the need, desire to have more in control and to be that authority, to get to dictate and say what happens. And that has always mainly been like a top-down approach in our human cultures, whether like we want to believe these days that it's that way or not. We vote, so we think there's this bottom-up approach, but we also know on some level that our politicians are bought out. So how can it be that your politicians aren't bought out, but my politicians are bought out, and vice versa? The reality is they're all bought out by the corporate wealth that we have essentially funded ourselves, being tricked into it. Another example of the greed, right? That's what the greed is getting us now. But in the present, greed got us ahead when life was very, very difficult for most people, and you had to do whatever you could to survive and pass those genes on. That's when greed was super useful. Now, it is in the society that we are and the society that we could become, that idea is way less useful. It is way more useful to be more intelligent about a situation, compromise and cooperate with as many individuals, groups, or ideas as possible. Diversity is the key to life, right? Not shutting down, limiting, and hoarding away, right? This greed concept, you can look at it in the stars, right? I love looking at cosmology to kind of get it in perspective for me. But the black holes are the greediest of the greeds, right? Those are the cores of what was once pure greed. These stars that were massive for whatever reason and pulled in way more resources than any other stars that also did not last as long, blew up and became black holes. And black holes in themselves aren't necessarily bad, but what has happened is we have these gigantic black holes in the middle of our galaxies, which in some instances just grow larger and larger to a point where they disrupt galaxy formation in the whole and star formation and essentially kill the galaxy, right? Because these greed bombs just get larger and larger and larger to an unsustainable level. And that's where we are visibly at right now. We are at the point where these large conglomerates, these powerful people, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, who have so much sway in just like the direction of society without any democratic input anymore. It's because they have so much money, wealth, like they get to kind of swing that around like gravity, and everyone sort of has to follow. And that's the result of greed, right? The hoarding away of resources, the collecting of more authority and control and power. It's just a shame, you know, like I don't know about the stars, but I know we people could be giving more. Our corporations could be giving more down, but they don't. It's all about providing more to the investors, more return to the investors, you know, more of the greed, right? Not more distribution, not more of the opposite of greed. Just more greed helps a company grow larger while at the same time killing all the stars around it, right? All the people that rely on that corporation and its product, right? And the money that the corporation provides them, which is little, right? So like all that becomes less and less as they tunnel down more and more on greed, because they have to provide that addiction feel for more and more people, as you know, more and more people get into the club of the millionaires, billionaires. Whew. So where does this get us in the future, right? Right now we see it happening. We see this massive pooling of power, money, greed, and greed is good. And if you even talk bad about capitalism or communism, like these superpowers, they will fucking shut you down. Like China will personally shut you down. They will use their government, whatever tactics they can do to shut you down. Here we'll have individuals or corporations come after you. And like last line of defense to shut you down is the government itself. It's kind of different here. So individuals will attack you on their greed ideals here, which is a shame, right? But greed is so ingrained in the Western culture, like supporting yourself and your family first, right? And that's very important. Being able to support your family is super important. But also when we're at a society that's so large, we're so intelligent, we have the ability, the technology to organize so much more efficiently than we do now, to make things more fair than we have it now, to like have a shot at a sustainable future, right? Instead of tunneling down on these old ideas with small incremental changes that just aren't working, right? And the science is saying we don't have a lot of time, but these companies, they want a few extra years, they want this many extra years to do this and this and this, so that the product can be 50% this, right? And it's like, can you just not redesign products? And that's a huge, you know, like pie in the sky idea, but it's really what has to happen. Like true innovation has to happen for a sustainable future, not this like wishful thinking of like ad hoc technology that we can add on to fossil fuel technology to make it cleaner so that we can keep polluting, so that we can keep having our massive profit scales that we're projecting into the future. Like that has to change. That has to change. Where the fuck am I? Is the entrance that way?
Well,
is the entrance that way?
Yes.
All right, thanks, man.
I mean, this isn't the trail.
That's not the main trail?
This is not the main
That's not the main trail. Yeah, I got carried away recording myself and like.
Yeah, it's if you keep going that way.
Yeah?
And then take a left, you'll get on you'll pass by the road.
Yeah.
Right? That you're on the yellow trail.
Okay.
If you keep following that trail, it'll eventually lead to the main
all right,
trail.
thanks, man. Have a good afternoon, man.
No problem.
Got a little lost there. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. You can have that little snippet of funnyism. I don't get lost often. I'm not actually lost. I could have just kept walking. Anyway, that's all I kind of wanted to ramble about. No, it's not. We didn't even talk about what greed's going to do in the future, did I? No, we did not. No, we did not. I left a whole little bit out. How silly of me. I have ADD if you didn't know, so like I get carried away with stupid shit. Anyways, so into the future, this greed is just gonna continue to tunnel down society. These people are gonna have more and more sway. They're going to dictate what we do for the future. For example, Elon Musk wants to implant literal chips inside people's heads so that we are better integrated with technology, and to artificially increase human bandwidth in the brain, to artificially increase our bandwidth. And he's doing this because he wants a more benign and perfect symbiosis with artificial intelligence. So he's literally doing it out of fear. He's afraid that we can't figure out our own future, that we have to change ourselves completely to have a better future. I disagree. I think we got big brain. I think all we kind of have to do is change the fundamental structures that we have now in society to build a better culture, and a better culture will lead to a better artificial intelligence. It's like having a kid, right? You don't want to fucking have a kid when like shit's just not going your way. There's a war, and like you're on food stamps, and like fucking like there's a coronavirus going on and shit. Like that would not be an ideal time to have a kid if you could help it, right? So my SD card totally filled up, even though I swear I made space like a couple weeks ago. And that guy totally told me to go the wrong direction, because I went all the way down this direction. And yeah, it just ended. So here I am. Anyways, I left off talking about how most of the wealth corporations and powerful just have short-term profits to keep banking and hoarding more and more for their next generations, or whatever fantasies they have going on that they give reason to hoarding more. So really, it's only like people like Elon Musk and major governments, which the governments are getting paid in part or in main by these corporations. So they're doing short-term plans and kind of letting these other shoot from the hip long-term plans play out as well, without giving any societal discussion about it. It's just whatever these powerful people kind of do, they just go do it. And whatever the powerful government says it's going to do, it just goes out and does it. Like here in America, we have this faux sense that like we have a say in the government, but really it's these 80-year-olds that are in Congress still, that are mainly white, like that are all hoarding away massive amounts of money. They get the say, right? They ultimately get the say, and the people that contribute to them, they get the say, right? And that's like the electoral college, isn't it? Right? Like essentially. So we have to start discussing this and getting upset or getting passionate about the directions that we're heading. And we need to be discussing this future instead of turtling down on the greedy ideas and just listening to people who may seem to have like, I don't know. Elon Musk is a genius, like I said, but do you guys want to put chips in your head? I don't. Are we still human at that point? Right? Are we giving up on being a biological species and like having natural connections at that point? I feel like if we wanted to progress in a more beneficial future, you would have a system of AI that's more benign and more protective of the species, of the transient, fleeting life on this planet, right? I mean, because that's what's really happening. The greed is quickly evaporating all of this away. Not only all of this, all the housing, all the stuff that we know, this everyday shit, it becomes obsolete in a year and just thrown out, right? So where's all these houses, this culture gonna be in like a few decades, right? Tossed out, like just because they don't care about it. They've got another culture that they're gonna try and sell you and like spin off and profit off of. So we have to change the greed culture. We have to change our culture. We have to change the engine in which we run, right? Which currently it's capitalism, and it rewards with greed, right? So if we want to keep capitalism and the innovation it creates, you just have to rework the reward system to not benefit those that are greediest. Well, that's a topic for another subject and for a greater audience that can give me feedback on that, because it's very complicated. Looks like I'll have to do a little editing with this video, just cut 2 clips together. Hate editing. But thanks for tuning in, guys. This one was long, probably like 14-minute rant. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like if you liked it. Please subscribe. I need more viewers. I need more counts up. If you didn't like it, if you think I'm crazy, if you think I'm stupid, if you have disagreements, go ahead, comment below. I might hit you up, or I might just ignore them, because, you know, sometimes arguing on the internet isn't the best forum. Sometimes it's better to get face to face with someone to really know the situation, feel for them, right? That's how I feel. Anyways, thanks. I love you guys.